How is there RNG in Hearthstone? I mean, how is RNG relevant in Hearthstone? I think the thing... I think the problem with RNG is that I don't think people understand what it is. Or maybe I don't understand what it is. But I think people use RNG as a... Hey, what's up, Scotty? Hey, we're in a very deep conversation right now. Scotty won the Rogue Book tournament. Hey, what's up, HT? The current is by definition RNG based, but that doesn't mean that's all influent. Like, why people mentioning RNG when talking about Hearthstone or Magic? I don't understand. Do you mean there's randomness in these games? Randomness that generated by computer? Okay. And? How is that different from randomness generated by shuffler? By you shuffling the cards? How is that different? This is an actual question. So maybe I've been wrong the whole time, and please teach me. See how like old blood braid John in standard? That's not RNG. So how is that RNG? So random if like it's how is that different from drawing a card? How is it different drawing a card like drawing land or not land? Like the only... Yeah, that's what I said. Like RNG is not... Like it's no different from randomness. So why are people using that? Why are people... Like, again, that's no personal attack on anybody. I'm just trying to make clear what we're talking about. How is mentioning RNG when talking about the Hearthstone or Arena any relevant? So, for example, like I see RNG being used for like speedrunning and saying, well, the game is gonna throw stuff at you and there are like 5 different ways to do that. And if they say, oh, may RNG be with you, it's like you want the right outcome to come out. And then the whole idea about this is to manipulate the RNG. If you can't manipulate, you just take it as it comes and it doesn't matter. I think people just like to blame RNG when they lose. Yeah, it's the same as they blame luck or randomness. So how is that different from real life? Like when you play chess, there's no RNG in chess. There's no randomness in chess. I mean, not in-game related RNG. And also RNG is very, very much connected to computers. Yeah, very. Oh, ooh, 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 the V word. Ooh, the V word. Ooh. Ooh, the V word. Ooh, the V word. Yeah, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. That's not the V word. I know what V is. I'm calling it the V because that's another word people love to throw away. To throw like this. Oh, it's variance. I'll lose because of variance. Come on. Yeah, you lose. You lose. You lose because you lose. Either you messed up or you couldn't win. It's variance. Yes, that's what I thought. Yeah, that's where the not in-game related variance is. Yeah, or you could just like have a heart attack and you win. That's the world RNG. That's the world's Matrix RNG. Yeah, exactly. So yeah. So RNG in Hearthstone, huh? Oh, I got that too. I got that too. Sheepy, I got that was even better. And I think I told that story a couple times. Yeah, that is true, Kelvin Dale. That's why that's the non. I wrote many articles about this, but very about V, about luck, about randomness, about stuff like this. And well, I'm gonna give you the conclusion of these articles. And that's the well, I'm gonna tell like if you want to hear about it, I can give you the little summary of it. That's something I bring up when people ask me how much luck is involved in Magic. Uh, and the answer is I don't know. I know we talked about this many times. If you don't want me to talk about it, if you actively don't want me to talk about this, I'm not gonna talk about it. So let me know right now. I'll forever hold your rest in peace. Let me check. I think I have one. I don't know if they're there. Let me see if I can find one. I'll give you a summary of them, and you'll see on TCG. I think I saved them somewhere. I'll have a look. Have a look. Yeah, I think it was maybe on Star City Games I wrote that one. So let me give you the premises of the thing. So how much luck is involved in a game of Magic, and it also involves a lot of other topics. Uh, for example, the premise, the starting point of these reflection is you're playing against, let's say you play tennis or chess. Let's say tennis. You play tennis again, a clone of yourself, your exact copy. So you get onto the court, and right when you choose which side you want to play on, you split into two exact copies of yourself, and you play against each other. Like, let's say Raph A and Raph B. And that's a game of tennis, so it will finish. There will be an end. There will be a clear winner. How much luck is involved in that specific game? That's the start of the thinking, and we'll see. We'll start from there, and it will make sense. How much luck is involved in there? I understand what you meant, Fatalis. I understand what you meant, but just random effect. But that's still the same as like drawing a land or not drawing a land. It's just more random effects. But it doesn't mean it's like it's the RNG or the V thing. In theory, it's possible for a tennis game to continue. Let's say at some point it will not, because now it's not possibility to go indefinitely, because let's say you play without a break until something finishes. So someone's gonna be exhausted and not gonna be able to play. Well, I guess if you never score a point when you serve. Let's just say one, like there's a winner. A 13-hour game. They would like games that last like 3 days. The Isner, what's the game? Isner against Mau. Like 75, 74 something. So what's the answer? What's your answer? How how much is luck involved in that particular match? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter how much randomness. Like it. So yes, the answer is 100%. Like 100%. This is uh this is a situation, like a perfect situation, where 100% of the outcome of the game is going to be determined by the outside conditions and stuff that are not in the player's controls. Uh, like who is start the coin flip, the sun, the wind, the so many little things that they have no control over. Uh, let's take another example. You are playing against a lucky bounce, yeah, a lucky bounce, like a lucky bounce of the net of the racket, like someone saying something at the wrong time in the public, in the audience, stuff like that's completely out of your control, and that's completely random. You cannot prepare for that, and it doesn't matter if you prepare for that. It's gonna happen at a time you can't control it. So whether it's Raph B or Raph A, like that's not in their hands. So it's 100% luck. And I say luck, it's just 100% outside circumstances. I'm not talking about luck. Luck is not a word that should be involved in these talk. So let's say this is Raph, and I'm playing against Nadal, against another Raph, against Rafa. How much is luck going to be involved in that game for the outcome to be different? So let's ask it some other way. So this is not exactly well asked. For the outcome to change from a regular thing against like Rafa in his best shape, in his prime, the outcome is basically I'm gonna lose. I'm gonna tell you, I'm not that good at tennis. So how much is randomness going to affect the outcome of the game? That's the way to ask the question. Exactly. If you split. Though if you split as you pick a side, I think doesn't count as luck if one player won because the side on the side is better. How is that not luck? Someone has to pick a side. Someone who got to pick a side was that's not in their control. Who decides who picked the side? So yeah, the game, it's close to zero. It's very close to zero. Like there's almost no way I can win a game against Nadal. The only way I can win. Well, we'll get to this. Give me a sec. Give me a second. We'll get there. The only way I can win a game against Nadal or like a match is if something like completely incredible happens, and it's not 0.01. It's much less. Like out of like 10,000 games, there's maybe one game where he breaks his foot, and even then, I'm pretty sure I lose anyway. Yeah, that's it. Or like something like he gets shot, or like something like that. Maybe even break it. I'm pretty sure he wins if he breaks his leg. I'm pretty sure he wins anyway. So it's very low. Yeah, I'll probably get DQ'd for that. So what's but Raph, What's your point? My point is, this is the extremes. Like we play, like this is the same game. This is tennis, where you can see that the clone, when you play your clone, 100% is gonna be luck, and you play someone so much better, it's 0%. So what's in the middle then? How do you determine the middle? Well, then you have to see what makes a player better and how much the outside influence has on the outcome of the game. And well, I'm not going to go through all the thinking process, but the conclusion is the more you train, the more you prepare for an event or for a game or whatever, the less uh, outside circumstances are going to influence the match up to a certain point. In tennis, it can go from 0 to 100%, or from 100% to 0. I'm the noob, he's the pro, he's gonna kill me 100%. The more I train, let's say I start early, and the more I train, the more chances I have to even things out. To go from 0.0001 to like 1 or 2 or 3 or maybe 10%. That's never gonna happen. But I'm just saying, like, if I was a pro tennis player, I could go up to 10%. And I talked to Gail about this. I talked to Gail about that. And so up to how much can you minimize the effects in tennis? 100%. But since both the players are gonna do the same things, it's gonna be like this, and you're never gonna be playing against your clone. So that's never gonna happen. But the 0% is gonna happen, but the 100% is never gonna happen. So the more you play, the more you train, the better you are, the more you even the chances. And in the end, you're gonna have a 50-50. The chance to win against your clone, 50%. The chances you win against Nadal, 0%. The chances Nadal has to win against you, 100%. So let's take another example, because this is tennis and this is an easy example. What about Magic? Because that's what we're talking about. Now I'm gonna use like figures from like tournaments and everything. You're the pro and you're playing a complete noob. Let's say not a complete. Let's say complete noob. Someone who has never played a game. You're playing the same format. Let's say any limited format. Let's not go into constructed just yet. What are the chances you're gonna win? Let's say you play 10 games, how many are you gonna win? A complete noob that knows the rules. And you have, let's say, the same decks. More or less the same decks. Same power level. Yeah, sure. Me against you, even though you're probably not a noob. Yeah, you're probably gonna win against a complete noob, like someone who just learned the rules. You're probably gonna win around 7. And in general, if you're the better player against the worst players, you're gonna be about between 60 and 65 favorite. So what does that mean? That means in a game of tennis, you have 0% chance of beating Nadal. In a game of Magic, you still have 40% chance to win. Even if you're outmatched in every way in that game. You can improve these odds if you prepare better for a tournament. We're not talking about matchups, we're not talking about stuff like that. But in general, if you're better prepared, if you're a little bit better prepared than someone else, if you're a better player, you're gonna have 60% chance to win. And this is from data from countless tournaments and from the best pros like Finkel, Kai, in the primes, they were winning 65 or 67% over the regular Pro Tour player, which is a lot. Maybe 60, maybe some, but most players are about 63%. So you still have 37% chance of winning against a better player, which is a lot. So then that's how you improve. That's how you go from like that's how you go from 50 to 63. That's not how you go from 63 to 90. And that's the whole point. If you're better at drafting, if you're better at controlling nerves, if you're better at reading the game, if you're better at the game, I'm not saying about like one particular set of matches, because of course you can go 9-1. That's how it works. But if you play a million matches, chances are you're gonna be 65% against them. And yeah, in this case it was 6. But we're talking about we're talking about a Pro Tour. If not, it's probably you're probably over that. Yeah, 80% over. Yeah, that's probably accurate. That's more accurate. In any case, you still have this very high chance to actually lose. 20%, between 20 and 25 and 35%. So if you have to answer the correct answer to the question how much randomness is involved in the game of Magic, you would say it's between 20 and 35, or 20 and 40. That would be the accurate number. But the real answer is between 20 and 35, depending on how prepared you are. The more you're prepared, the less randomness involved. And that, depending on the game you're playing, depending on the field, it will mostly apply. Like it will be different from team game, from team competitions, because it doesn't rely on you. But in one-on-one competitions, the end line, the more you're prepared, the less room for outside circumstances to affect the outcome. That will always work. And that's the correct answer. I believe that's the correct answer. And win percentage for pro. What do you mean? How do you get control over frustration cause of bad luck losses? So bad luck is not, well, bad luck. So first, how do you explain this? You have to understand that the 20 or let's say like 35% are very real, and they are not very easy to grasp like on the spot. Like say, oh, I was just looking for a land on my opponent top deck. This is not 1 in 100. And well, the pro player who wins 35 is well prepared. This is about the 35% player can improve to a better percent. Yep, exactly. That's the right answer also. So once you understand that the top deck your opponent made, and the fact that you didn't draw a land, or you drew like a very strange sequence of cards, this is not as bad as you think it is. And this is the first step to recover from it. Like, oh, I need the land like in 2 turns. Okay, so would you have won with the land in 2 turns? Yeah, definitely. Okay, so let's figure it out. A land in 2 turns is what? That's blah. Let's say it's 65% chance of finding the land. Fine. If you draw it, is there really like you win on the spot? Yes. Well, that's still 35. You still have 35% to miss. and it's not negligible. It's 1 in 3, more than 1 in 3. So 1 in 3 is that will happen, and but you don't remember the times you actually drew it. You never say, "Oh, I was so lucky I drew a land when I needed it to win the game." You don't remember that, and it's as Aquarius said, it's the survivor's bias. So since like you're there, like not exactly survive. It's the other way around, I guess. The the reverse survivor's bias. You only remember the one that affect you. Survivor's bias is the one that like you know it because it worked out for you. It's the other way. It's the reversed way. Sorry about a grandpa who smoked his entire life and grew to 93. Yeah, exactly. That's a survivor bias. You never hear about the guy that died at 50. Yeah. You don't have to ask. I'm telling you. And if you have good arguments against it, that's fine too. I'll accept them. So once you understand that it's really not that unlikely that whatever happened to you, that's the first step. That's the first step. If you stay rational, that's the first step to get over it. It's tough because you're human and you act with passion and yeah, accepting that you don't control everything, that it's not a game of tennis. You know, if you miss your coup droit, your revers, your backhand, you know it's your fault. It's not because and it's frustrating, but you had to do better. You had to train better, or your opponent had to do not as good. Here is not in your control. Like you can't do anything. If you could do something, then it's your fault, and it's a different thing. Like, oh, I should have played differently. Like could have played better, and make my odds better in that case, so I could draw not only a land but another spell to just buy me some time. And that's a whole different it's a whole different thing. Like understanding that it might be because like normal random circumstances, like you don't draw the real red mana you needed for like 3 turns, might be not your fault, and might be your fault but you don't know it. So overall, the first thing you have to do, even if it's like extremely frustrating, is see, could I have played this game differently? And if you've seen me, if you had known me in Paper Magic, and you see me sometimes when I finish my games, it's like, I lost, but could I have done anything different? And you will, if you check my streams, you will see that when I lose a game, I don't always play super tight on stream. And that's kind of frustrating too, but that's how it is. And I lose a game like, yeah, we didn't draw the lane, but could I have played different? Should I have blocked that turn? And that's how you grow. That's how you understand that not only you didn't draw the land, that's fine, like they can't do anything, but you try to find the ways the land was not necessary, improve your odds, and the more you rationalize your loss, the more you'll be able to get over them. Getting frustrated doesn't help. Like that doesn't help for you to grow. Doesn't help you for you. That doesn't help you to move on. And it's just frustrating. And people have different ways to cope with that. You can either take a break, go out, have a drink, shower, whatever you want. Uh, and that's how you get over it. You can't ignore emotions. You're a human. It's not possible. But you can try to make them not affect you as much as they should. I hope that's a helpful advice, piece of advice. And that's part of the luck. That's part of the luck, of the randomness that you have to live with. You play Magic, and there's weekend. Yeah, have a good weekend, Sheepie. And that's how it is. You don't play tennis. You will lose because of things not out of your control. There will be these RNGs involved. I hate these words because they all. The problem I have with, we started talking about this because some of you mentioned RNGs and the V word, and to me, mentioning this is a way to excuse your lack of rationality. Oh, you lost. Oh, you lost because they found the right card with this random card. Okay, and because of too much V or too much RNG. No, it's just how the game is played. And sometimes the game is more random. And okay, fine, but like more RNG cards, or more random cards is hardly changing anything in Magic. Like how does it change anything? How is it different than drawing or not drawing a land or not? Sometimes you find the right card with the captain, sometimes you don't, but it's not like you built your deck, your opponent you build your deck, or your opponent builds their deck to maximize the chances to find the right card. So when you think it's like, oh, it's a 1%, it's actually more than 80%. So it's tough to understand it because we don't have the mind to visualize high numbers or to integrate so many different calculations. Like trying to figure out the probability of something happening is insanely complicated. Like you can try, and there are, of course, there are formulas and stuff like, oh, what are the, you can try to what how likely am I to draw a land. You have like, okay, 20%, okay, fine. You see on like NTAT like 20%, okay, 20%, but it's just so much more than this. It is so much more than this. And we talk about randomness with the very little party. What do you mean? Well, and then there's the tilt and everything, but that's everywhere the same. Like try like, and this is, and Magic is fine. Play poker with this. If you play poker with that, I'm telling you, I'm very rational. I'm extremely rational in these things, and I sometimes I tilt. Like I'm not. I'm human, and sometimes it's just too much for you to. There was one of the tournaments, one of the league weekends. I played mono white. I almost like I exploded. I could not take it. I could not take it. Like every game was a torture. Like the deck was teasing me, and I couldn't take it, and you could see my frustration. And after then, you had to play like what 12 rounds or 14 rounds with the same deck that was always teasing me. And yeah, because the deck doesn't get to draw the fourth land every fourth turn or the third land, and then when you don't draw it, you just lose, and that's how it is. You have to accept it, and sometimes it's hard, especially when you have to keep playing and when the stakes are high. But you don't lose much in poker. You tilt, you lose your life, literally. Like you lose all your money, and you shouldn't, like, you should be rational. That's what I'm saying. On passe de match pour pouvoir tirer. Oh, 1 second. Uh, uh, uh. Give me 1 second. J'en ai pas assez de matchs pour pouvoir en tirer quelque chose de viable mathématiquement. That's also true. Like testing Magic tournaments is also like, you don't realize how hard it is to integrate data in deck testing, in tournament testing. Um, to have everything work out your way, to have like testing teams usually have the spreadsheets and stuff, and for them to be accurate, it's almost impossible. Most of it's gut feeling associated with like some row numbers, but it's never gonna be nearly as accurate as you think it is gonna be. Oh yeah, but added one or two of these to make the matchup better. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's it's how much better. This is the question. Yeah, added this, added one removal to make the matchup better. Okay, how much better is the matchup? How many games? I'll play 2 or 3 games. Yeah, okay, that's not relevant. Oh, but it's better than yours. Yeah, okay, but how much better? Is it worth? Is it worth the 15 sideboard slot? Is it worth the 60th main deck slot? Yeah, you go for 34, 30 from. Yeah, exactly. This is super hard, and this is mess. And saying, and you will see that some people would complain. Yeah, but I had 5 removal in my deck against you. Cool. I mean, most people have 5. As 4 have 4, and they don't beat me. So one more. How is the difference? And getting from 30 to 32, sometimes people think it's like from 30 to 70, but it's not. So they didn't get unlucky. It's just the net. They didn't work the math properly. They're just as close as they can possibly be, but that's never as close as you want to be. Anyway, if you want to improve this kind of stuff, this is I would gladly like have one-on-one conversations to answer like most of your questions about like game theories and stuff. And if you want to improve just your game, so this is where you can find me on Metafly. This is the stream that can talk to everybody, answer your questions, but they're usually informative if you're interested.